I'm Jessica, and welcome to Reality Check. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode where I check off your list with season 2 of Love Island Games episodes 4 and 5. Okay, these are some messy players. There's some messy players, and I mean in this episode 4 in particular, we have a little like love hexagon going on. Not the fact that it's like 6 people all entangled in this web, but it's like this person went to this person and told them that they kissed this person, and then that person went to the other person and told them that they kissed them. Like, it's so a little bit chaotic, and I'm kind of here for it. I'm kind of here for the mess already happening in the earlier episodes. We definitely have some game players. I think a lot of people now on the show are like, okay, screw it, because it's $250K on the line. I way rather put my head in the game and win this show than try and find love and not win at all. So I like that people are competitive. And again, like I said this in the previous episode, I like that people are admitting that they don't want to find love. They just want to win the game. And I think, that's fine because that is the nature of the game. But I thought that this episode was so messy in like all of these people spilling the tea to other people that they were kissing on someone else. It was so messy. We got someone new entering the game. We had 2 people leaving in this episode. So let's get into the recap because a lot happened. Let's start off with Tyreek and Chris because, obviously they're not a couple, but they're just chatting. They're bros, and I guess they have like this respect for each other. And Tyreek, this is where the love hexagon just starts. So it starts off with these 2 because Tyreek tells Chris that he kissed KK a few nights prior. I believe it was a few nights prior. And Chris was like, "Ooh, I didn't know that. She didn't say anything." And obviously, like, he's frustrated that like KK didn't disclose that information to him and like wasn't honest with him. But also too, it's like, did KK even have the right, like, did she have the right time? Like, was she given the actual, like, the right opportunity to go ahead and tell Chris that she had kissed Tyreek? To be honest, I think the answer is yes, because didn't they show KK and Chris having like one-on-one time after she had kissed Tyreek? So like I do think KK had the opportunity to tell Chris. And so like, fast forwarding to when Chris goes to KK and is like, "Look, like I know what you did. I know that you and Tyreek kissed." She's like, "Well, I didn't really have the right opportunity." And it's just like, I don't know about that, because I personally think that you did, and I just think maybe you wanted to see, I don't know. I don't even know if KK's like that, though. Like, I don't think KK kind of, like, is a snake and seeks around. Like, I think she's such a genuinely nice girl. So now I think I'm eating my words. Maybe KK was right, because she was like, "I didn't have the right time and the opportunity. Like, I wanted to tell you, but, like, when was I going to tell you?" I don't know. But I also just, like, don't really care, because, like, Chris wouldn't kiss KK. So why wouldn't KK explore, right? And it's not like Chris has any sort of, like, desire to, number one, be there for love, but to also just, close things off with anyone. And so it's just like for KK, like, she's allowed. And I think it's more so just like a respect level of like, hey, if you're going to explore outside of our connection, if you're going to kiss anyone, like, that's fine. Like, that's cool. Just let me know. So, it's just like, Chris, like, did you even really like KK? I do think, though, kind of seeing these 2 episodes play out, I actually think KK and Chris are a strong couple, more so like in the game. We saw that, right? Like, they won the challenge in this episode, but I think they're a power couple. Like, I think they could honestly take it to the end. And I do think that like Chris is probably one of the best people to be partnered up with, because him more than anyone can just win himself all the way to the end. If he can continue to win, like, he's a professional athlete. If he can continue to win, then he's sitting pretty at getting $250K. So I think I just thought this whole thing was just so funny, because it's like, Chris, you're upset and whatever about KK not telling you, but it's like, you haven't really shown the desire to even want to kiss her and want to explore that connection more than anything outside of winning this game. But we did see them doing something under the covers, which was like the most we've ever seen Chris do with anyone on his Love Island career. So, it's left to the imagination what was happening under those covers, because we obviously don't know, but I can only assume that they were obviously definitely kissing. So, I mean, Chris is finally getting his kisses in on Love Island, what he wanted in the last season. But yeah, this is kind of where that like little love hexagon starts. And then it ravels and goes into Johnny and Andreina, because Chris, even though Chris doesn't really want anything to do with Andreina, Chris is the one that spills the beans to Andreina about Tyrique and KK kissing and that they had this kiss. So you see how it's like, even though Chris and Andreina don't have anything going on, he's kind of going to her to tell Andreina who his connection kissed her connection. Like, it's so confusing. It's so confusing. Like, wow. But anyways, so then you have Andreina being like, wow, well, that's good to know, because he obviously did not tell me. And this is where, honestly, I just think Tyrique probably had zero intentions of telling Andreina, and he's probably just like, if she finds out, she finds out. I really don't care. If she doesn't find out, that's even better. That's honestly how I think Tyrique is. I think what Tyrique, adds onto the show is just like 0 Fs. He honestly just doesn't care, and I think that's fine. Like, that's his personality, and I think he can get away with not caring, because I don't know, there's just something about him that I kind of find hilarious, but also major red flags this guy has. Like, that is for sure. So he tells Andreina, and Andreina is obviously like super annoyed and upset, but it's like, Andreina, you were just so happy is an understatement, like just so excited, and forgot about Tyrique when Johnny walked through those doors, when you went on that date with Johnny, and you made out with Johnny then, and it's like now you're upset hearing about Tyrique kissing KK. So then she goes and confronts Tyrique and is like, listen, bro, like, I heard that you were kissing KK. And I think the thing is like, Andreina made out with Johnny. And I feel like I just said it. When Johnny came in, she was like, Tyrique who? So to me, it's like, okay, double standard. Because like, and like, how can you get mad at Tyrique for kissing KK, but you also kissed Johnny when he walked in? So I don't know. I thought that was really confusing, to be honest, but maybe she came from it at the standpoint, because she kept saying like, you kissed her at my lowest point, like right after the challenge, right after the duel, when I lost and I was vulnerable. You kissed KK that same evening when like you should have been helping me kind of get through that difficult time, and you should have been consoling me and being there for me, which instead you were not. You were too busy kissing KK, which I do understand from that standpoint, if that's why she was upset. But I also just think she kind of used it as an excuse of like, oh, perfect timing. I kissed Johnny, but like, no. Like, the difference is that the timing of how you kiss KK and when you kiss KK, that makes all of the difference. So I was just like, a lot of double standards happening, because you kiss Johnny, but it's not okay for him to kiss KK, but it's because of the timing. I don't know. Very, very confusing. Very confusing. But then Andreina was like, it's different though. It's so different. We have history and we go back, and like, that. And like, what can I say? Everyone loves me. Everyone just wants to be with me after my last season because I'm so hot. She said that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so gross. Why are you saying that? Like, and this is where I'm like, okay. I was trying to give Andreina the benefit of the doubt, because a lot of people online, even from the last season, was like, she's annoying, I don't like her. And so in this season, I was like, coming into this season, I was like, we haven't really seen Andreina a lot in the last season, so I'm just going to come in with an open mind about her. In the first few episodes, I was like, okay, I think her personality is coming through, seeing her in a little bit of a different light. I'm cool with her. I have nothing against her. This episode is where she started to lose me, when she literally is just like, I'm hot, everyone wants me, what can I say? Not my fault. I don't like that. Like, I don't like that. Like, I'm all for confidence, but to say something like that, it's just too much for me. It's just too overtly confident. Not even that it's overtly confident, but it's just like, it's a comment that you don't need to say. You know what I mean? And it's just like, then her having this like total double standard of like, Tyreek kissing KK, you're pissed at him, but then like he finds out that you kissed Johnny, but it's okay because you and Johnny had history. Like, no. It doesn't work that way. So I don't know what is going to happen between Andraina and Johnny, because obviously we know that Andraina and Tyreek are definitely over, because when KK went to go talk to Tyreek, Andraina was like, well, good luck with that. Like, she's so done with him. I don't think there's anything between the two to be salvaged. I think Johnny is the new bright, shiny object. I mean, not even new, old, bright, shiny object, because she has this relationship with him and is not letting anyone else forget about that. But KK goes to confront Tyreek and is like, Tyreek, why would you tell Chris that we kissed? And Tyreek apologizing. He's like, look, I just wanted to be straight up. And it's like, okay, how do we feel about this situation? Do we think it was right for Tyreek to confront Chris and just be like, hey, bro, listen, just so you know, I don't want to hear it from anyone else. I just want you to know that KK and I shared a kiss. Do we think he was right in doing that? Or do we think that he should have not said anything and waited for KK to say something to Chris? Or like go to KK and be like, hey, I don't feel like I like loved our kiss, but it's not sitting right with me because I have a close relationship with Chris. You know, when are you going to tell him that it happened? I don't know. Like, I think it's really hard because it's like, I understand like bro code, and like if you want to be honest with a guy, a bro that, you know, you obviously have gotten close to, I can respect that move. But then it's also like it's at the expense of quote unquote like blindsiding KK because it makes KK look bad to Chris. So to me, it's like he should have just given her the heads up. He never even told her afterwards. Like, he never said, oh, by the way, I told Chris that we kissed, just heads up. KK had to find out from Chris. So this whole like whatever the hexagon, whatever this is, it's just so confusing because it's just like this person and this person and this person, that all just telling each other that they've all kissed. What I like about it is that people are exploring. I think what was different from this and the last season is like you had key few people that were just not exploring whatsoever. Cough, cough, Alandria, cough, cough, Huda, you know? So it's nice that people are exploring. And I think the games aspect is what is pushing people to explore that, because I feel like there isn't that much pressure to form a connection because this is based on games and winning, not necessarily love and finding and America really loving your partner, right? So speaking of lack of connection, I honestly feel so bad for Nicola because I think she's such a sweet girl and I think she's very different from other girls that we've seen on the show, right? It's like a lot of these girls, they're all beautiful and gorgeous, but it's that Instagram girl, right? The lips, the Botox, the boobs, the filler, all of that. Nicola is just a beautiful European girl. She's super natural. And so I feel bad because Isaiah confronts her and he's like, I don't see you in a romantic light whatsoever. You know, it's brutal to hear, but I do like his honesty and the fact that he's just like not stringing her along and not trying to kind of like make something out of nothing. And I wish there was like a guy for her on the show, like a nice Italian man that, you know, it really appreciates just natural beauty. Obviously for Isaiah, I mean, we know his type. We've seen who he was with on his last season. And so clearly, yeah, like Nicola isn't his type, but I feel bad because she is just such a sweet girl and she is genuine. And I do think that America is liking her. Like, even though I think it's hard when you aren't like a player from America, when you are from Europe, I think it's hard to kind of put a stamp in your name when you're not from, because I think America is just like this proud country and they obviously want to see, you know, they'll vote for Americans over Europeans, I think. And so I think America is taking a liking to her because she is just so natural and humbling and different from what we've seen on the show. I just hope she finds someone, and I hope that someone comes into the villa and, you know, she's their type and they're her type, because I think she is a really sweet girl, and it's just a breath of fresh air to see, you know, someone just really natural beauty on her screen. You know, it's just different, and I like it. So then we get into the challenge, and can I just say, first of all, Ariana, that outfit, like that mermaid outfit with like the gems brought, like, oh my gosh, she looked absolutely incredible. I think Ariana, them making Ariana the host was the best thing they could have done for the show. I truly do. I think it was just the best thing. Like, her and the Sandoval breakup, you know, it sucked, but it was the best thing that could have happened for her. And I didn't realize this, but she didn't even host last season, probably because it's only 2 months, you know, 2 months removed from the actual Love Island. It's a lot to ask for her to, I mean, she's probably getting paid really well, and like, you're in Fiji, so whatever, but it's also like you put your life on pause basically to fly out to Fiji for X amount of weeks. She was already there for 2 months to shoot this show, but I think she's absolutely killing it, and I could not see anyone else as the host. You know, the US version has tried many different people throughout the 5 seasons before Ariana, but she is absolutely killing it. I really enjoy watching her as the host. I really do. She found her calling, and I couldn't be more happier for her, because she definitely deserves it, and she does a really good job. Like, it's not like she's this big name that sucks at hosting and she only has the gig because she is a big name. She's actually really good at it, and that is the difference. That's the difference. This challenge, I could not even keep up with what was happening. Is it just me? I was so confused. I had no idea what was happening. There were so many things going on, so many rounds, so many obstacles, so many things, and I couldn't keep track. I literally was just like, I want to fast forward and just see who wins, because I don't know what's happening. There was all of these heats. I was like, why is this person competing here and they're not competing here, but they're competing again? Like, I genuinely was so confused. Genuinely was very confused. So let's go over like the highlights of what happened in this challenge. Before the challenge, let's actually say this. Someone new comes in because it's an uneven pairing. They needed another guy to come in because there was more girls than guys. So Toby from season 1 of Love Island Games comes in. Does anyone remember him? Because I don't. I honestly don't remember anyone from last season. Is that bad that like wasn't from the American version? I had to look up who Justine won with because I genuinely forgot who she was partnered up with. They even had a connection to. I totally forgot about that pairing. I also had no idea who Johnny was partnered up with. I had to look that up. But like when I see them, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. Like totally remember that. Toby, don't remember at all, but it sounds like he wasn't even in there for that long of a time. So like it's fine that I don't forget, but still like my memory clearly is not the greatest. He comes in and he has to choose who he wants to be partnered up with. Like he literally gets to choose anyone. And funny enough, he chooses Andrea. And it's just like, why is everyone choosing this girl? Like, yeah, I get it. She's a beautiful girl, but like 3 guys, 3 partners in like 48 hours. She even said it. Like, this is crazy. I've been with so many guys. I'm just like bouncing around. Why is everyone choosing her? His strategy and why he said that he chose her. Yes, she's beautiful, but he didn't want to go for like the number 1 girl. And obviously you're not going to go for the girl in last. So he went for Andrea. I don't know. I don't understand why everyone is just choosing her. It's like she's just a hot commodity. She's a hot commodity. And I mean, like, look, she's a really good looking girl, but I feel bad because it's like she wants to explore this connection with Josh and she's not able to because people keep choosing her to be partnered up with. But then it's just like, I think it's okay because what we saw in the next episode with Justine and Josh being paired up, I think is exactly how you should be playing this game. Because this is literally what I said in the last episode. I said it exactly. I said, if you find a partner that you have zero romantic connection with, but like you two are both physically super strong and know like that you can really win challenges together, but have like it's clear as day, and you've made that very clear that you have no romantic connection, you don't want to get to know each other romantically, but you want to be each other's partners because you want to make it to the end and win, then I think that is the way to go. And then you have your side people on the side and exploring outside of your couple. Also, too, that is like the best way for there to be less mess, right? You're not getting like super invested in your couple. You know, if you hear that your couple is kissing, like you don't have to worry about your couple kissing someone else and then you getting upset or whatever. Like, I think honestly that is the best strategy to have. Why does it matter to win? Like, I get it. Like, okay, you want to win with maybe someone that you end up coupling up with. Like, yeah, that is nice and that's a nice love story. But at the end of the day, it's $250,000 on the line. So, like, do what you need to do. Find someone that is really strong that you know you can probably make it to the end with. And then just be on the same page with each other. Is like, okay, we're going to explore out, like, we're not with each other elsewhere, and come back to each other when we need to compete. But that's pretty much it. It's going to be platonic, and yeah, we know we're going to sleep in the same bed, but like we'll sleep butt to butt. I think that's the way to go. So I don't know, maybe that's how Andrea and Josh are going to move forward, because Josh seemed really on board with that idea when Justine brought it to him. He didn't even think about it. I'm like, this is why I need to be on these shows, because this is where my mind goes. I said this way before we even saw this on our screens. But anyways, so like I said, Toby picked Andrea. She's mad, but she'll get over it. I mean, she did get over it in the next episode because they're making out. And yeah, I don't know. So Andrea is definitely doing what she did not do in her last season, and that is exploring, which is good, right? It's like a different experience, kind of like a forced explore, where it's like she's not going out of her way to choose these guys are all choosing her, and I guess for her it works in her favor because she is able to explore and is able to maybe make new connections that she maybe wouldn't have made in the past, because even when Toby partnered up with her, she was like, oh, I don't know, and then she got to talk to him and get to know him. And then you see them making out, and maybe she's going to go with him and not Josh. So we'll see. So because Toby chooses Andrea, like I just said, Josh and Justine are partnered up with each other. This, in my opinion, is the just instant powerhouse couple. To me, they're probably top two couples of this show. KK and Chris and Justine and Josh, I think, are the two couples to beat physically on the show. But I think like Justine and Josh, I think both just are very strong, like individually. And because Justine already has experience of Love Island games, I think that's an even bigger edge to have, because she's played this game before. So she's probably even thinking of strategies. I mean, we just talked about it. She's thinking of strategies that other people aren't even thinking about. Her head is in the game. I don't even think Justine cares to form any sort of connection with anyone else. She was literally just on another show doing that. I mean, she didn't really put her stamp on that show at all, but I don't think she cares to form a connection. And I mean, I think Josh does. I think that's the difference. I think he does, but I do think with Justine and him being partnered up, I feel like that kind of like sparked a fire for Josh to be like, okay, it's us two, ride or die. Let's go. Let's make it to the end. But you just never know in this game, because every single episode we're seeing new twists and turns that Ariana, obviously producers, but like Ariana is delivering the twists and turns, and you just don't know. Like, I guess if you win a challenge, then you can't be split up. But if you don't win, you're going to risk to be split up. So it's hard to be like, yeah, Justine and Josh, they're super strong and they're going to make it to the end. The only way to really do that is to win every single challenge. And that's probably not likely. It's probably hard and difficult to win every single one. So we'll see. You know, I'm sure at any chance that people will get, why wouldn't someone go for Chris? why wouldn't someone go for Justine? In my opinion, why wouldn't they go for Josh? Like, even if you're not romantically into them, they're still strong competitors. So we'll see what happens. Getting into the challenge itself, like I said, it was just way too confusing. I had no idea what was going on half the time. All I know is this. The top couples were KK and Chris, Garby and Kendall. Sorry, I literally keep saying Kendall. It's Kendall. Garby and Kendall, Justine and Josh, and Solenn and Merritt. To be honest with you, I was really surprised seeing Solenn and Merritt in the top couples. They looked like a hot mess as they were going through the thing. But honestly, I just didn't even know what I was watching. I didn't even know what they were supposed to be doing the half the time. I didn't know if they were being timed. No idea. So it's like, okay, those were the top couples. But the power couple was KK and Chris. Absolutely no surprise at all. The funny thing was Chris, everyone was wearing these like eye patches like that football players wear. And on one eye patch it said over, and the other eye patch it said seas, overseas. I was honestly dying. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. But basically this whole plot twist was kind of thrown into the mix that the power couple, so KK and Chris, had to make a couple that was safe. So one of the top couples, they had to make them vulnerable. So like, why? Why did they have to do that? I don't understand. Like, why would you have to make a top couple safe? What was the point in that, right? Because there's all these other couples that are in the bottom. Why did one of the top couples have to be safe? To me, it's just like, I don't know. It goes back to like a production point of view where maybe they just weren't happy with the results. And to me, Solenn and Merritt are the weakest couple. Obviously, just like connection wise. I mean, I guess Nicola and Isaiah are the least compatible connection wise because he already told her that he has no interest in being with her. But like, Solenn and Merritt to me are the weakest too, because like we barely see them on our screen. I feel bad because I think finally in these 2 episodes we really saw Merritt and Lucinda's connection blossom, and him, you know, trying hard for her and doing, you know, really cute things for her. And I think it sucks that like they were put in the bottom, but I also am just like not understanding why they had to put a top couple in the bottom, like adding it to the mix. What was wrong with the bottom couples already? It just didn't make sense to me. So going back to my point of like, from it being a production point of view, it's like, did production kind of see the bottom couples and not be happy with it and was like, oh, you know, there's some people in the top that like we would be okay with being in the bottom and going home. In my mind, it is Solenn and Merritt. They're really, aside from Lucinda and Merritt, like finally their relationship kind of blossoming, they weren't really adding in that much value in the show. And I also just, poor Merritt, like his English, he was struggling, you know, and I didn't see them going far at all. So I don't know. To me, it was just kind of random that they had to put a top couple in the bottom. Why put them in the top anyways? It didn't make sense. So like I said, they chose Solenn and Merritt. Again, it seemed to me some sort of like, I don't know how it would be possible, but like some sort of like producer manipulative tactic where it was just like, yeah, let's put them in the bottom because they're not really adding value, and like see how we can get them out in this episode. Their logic for putting them in the bottom, like KK said that, and this is the logic I agreed with. It's better to cut a couple that they think that she thought that America would vote out anyway. So like KK is very in tune, I think, with what is going on. And I mean, I think it's obvious too. They're not American. So like it's harder, I think, for just Europeans to do well in this show regardless. If they're both coupled, like if 2 Europeans are coupled up with each other, because I mean, it's America voting, you know, so you already kind of are at a disadvantage. So I think she saw from that point of view, which did make sense to me. Chris was like, they don't have a connection. And I'm like, okay, ironic coming from you, because it's like, you don't even want to be on the show to form a connection anyways. You just want to win. What if they just wanted to win and they kind of made that clear that we don't want to form a connection, we just want to win? So I'm like, okay, Chris, ironic coming from you, the one that like isn't open to really making any sort of connection, but okay. So let's get into episode 5. And honestly, this episode didn't really have that much going on. Obviously, there was America's vote and we have Solen and Mert leaving the villa, which we'll get into. But like, other than that, it was kind of just like a whole lot of talking. There wasn't any games. There wasn't any challenges. It was just getting to know each other and just honestly showing people talk. And it's just like, I need some spice. I need some fun. Is it just me? I find these episodes way too long. It takes me so long to get through these episodes. I don't know why. Yes, they're an hour, but they're a full hour. It's not 60 minutes with commercials. It's 60 minutes or 75 minutes. Like, these episodes are so long, and because they're obviously nearly daily, it's a lot. I don't know what it is, but it's just like, to me, this doesn't need to be on 5-6 days a week. I feel like this could be on 3 days a week, 4 days a week max. Like, this doesn't need to be on that many days a week. I don't know. Like, I get it. Like, it is Love Island. So like, that is the format of Love Island where it is on 5-6 days a week. But it's like, if they could get into some sort of formula, like kind of like Big Brother, where it's like, okay, on Sundays, it's head of household and they have the head of household competition and they nominate the 2 people for eviction. And then on Wednesdays, it's the power veto competition and they have the veto ceremony. And then on Thursdays, it's a live eviction. Like, it is very set. And I know like this is kind of like loosey-goosey and they don't really have set things going on. I think they're honestly making it up on the fly, to be very honest with you. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like the episodes don't need to be as long as they are. And I also just think it doesn't need to be on for as many times as it is during the week, because it's like, this episode didn't necessarily have that much substance. Like, there was stuff happening, but it was just a lot of talking. I don't know. Is it just me? Do you feel this way? If so, comment down below, because, I don't know if it's just me. So some of the highlights that I guess I'll just talk about briefly before we get into the vote. KK and Tyreek. When Tyreek leaned in for a kiss and KK swerved, I was like, that's when I knew. Tyreek, she's not playing games. She's done. And I thought that was pretty iconic. Like, I'm so here for that, KK, especially just because Tyreek is just this overly confident man. And so I feel like he's just not used to being told no. So for her to kind of swerve and be like, nah, I'm good. She knows, the best person that she's coupled up with is Chris from a competition standpoint. And I mean, we see it in this episode. They're getting really, really close. I said it earlier. They show us in the evening doing something underneath the covers. Don't know what it is. We'll use our imagination. But yeah, I think if KK and Chris can stay together, I think they will go really, really far. But again, it's like, a girl can come in and pick anyone. Why wouldn't you pick Chris? Chris would be the first one to pick because he is literally almost 7 feet tall and he's a professional athlete. Why wouldn't you pick him? So who knows what's going to happen? But for now, I'm actually into this pairing. Even though I've kind of have my stance on Chris and he's whatever to me, I'm actually into this pairing more so for the competition aspect, less about the romantic aspect, because he doesn't have any intention of actually being on the show for romance. So I'm just looking at them competition aspect. I'm into this pairing. Tyreek, though, gets basically turned down by KK, and then he goes and tries to spark something up with Justine. It is messy. This man has mess written all over his forehead. That is just kind of, I guess, how he moves. And I mean, to me, like I said, it's kind of entertaining. And it's entertaining because it's like, okay, he gets shot down, he's going to go to the next girl. So he's not in it for any sort of love. He's just in it for the games. He's here for the vibe. He just wants to have fun. And I think it's fine because, like, he has made that known that, like, he's just in it for the fun. But I just think it is so funny where it's like, hey, you just got turned down. Now he's going to go to run in Justine and try and do something and try to swoon her over. Mer and Kendall, actually, no. Kendall planned a date for Lucinda on Merritt's behalf. And I thought it was just so cute because, I think Kendall did a really good job in, like, helping plan this date. I don't think this is necessarily Mert's comfort zone. Clearly not. He needed to enlist the help of Kendall. I think Kendall did a really nice job. And I mean, at the end of the day, Lucinda was happy. She was over the moon. Lucinda was like, did you do this? And he's like, yeah. He didn't do any of it. He was just sitting there watching Kendall do it all and put the sand on the floor. I thought it was so funny, but Lucinda loved it. She loved the effort. And this is where, again, I feel bad because now he's obviously gone and she kind of, is left single, I guess, in the sense of her connection is gone, but she'll find someone. She's such a beautiful girl. I really love her on this show. I think she brings such a nice energy. And again, it's just like the fun UK banter, but I just thought it was so funny that Kendall planned this whole thing and like literally to the cushions, he put them all out. And Mert, took all the credit, which is fine. Mert, you're allowed to take the credit because whatever, Lucinda doesn't have to know. And I thought it was really, really cute though when Lucinda, I guess, was kind of like, okay, like this is it. You put all this effort in. I'm so into you. Let's do this kind of thing. And she was like, I think when we both leave here, we have to download Duolingo in order for this to work so that we can learn each other's languages. And I thought that was honestly so adorable and just so cute. And like, it just, it just is so nice to see that like, no matter, and they say like love has no languages. And like, as corny as that is, like, I do think that is true. And I just thought that was a really nice moment when they said that. So we'll see what happens with them outside of this villa. I don't really necessarily have like that much hope. I think Mert does because he sent this whole like love letter out to Lucinda now that he's out of the villa, but we'll see. We'll see what happens and what's in store for them. But I just thought that was really cute. And I feel bad because it's like Lucinda was so sad. Then she finally has a smile on her face and she's finally into Mert. And now she's sad again because he's gone. So then we get into this voting. And this is where it's like, okay, I didn't love what they did. I don't love what production did. This whole gift box twist, what was up with that? Again, like it was just nothing that we had ever seen before. Why do they have to throw so many twists into the mix? In my opinion, it's like pick one. Either you open up the gift boxes or America's voting and that's what you go with. Period. Done. Like don't make it both. So the bottom three couples, as we know, were Mert, Solenn, Andrea and Toby, and Nicola and Isaiah. So those are the bottom three couples based off of America's vote. So Ariana reveals that there's 3 gift boxes that they can go choose, or they have to go and select and choose. And they open it. If there's a pink heart, they're safe. If there's a black heart, they're dumped. But they can also choose not to open the boxes. And basically, the couple that America voted for the least would be the one sent home. So it was majority of rules, whether you want to open the box or whether you wanted to leave it up to America. It's basically like that's in your hands, the choice to make. I'm honestly surprised with how all of this kind of played out because Mert and Solenn decided not to open up their box and to leave it in the hands of America, which, listen, I think they're very nice people. But there's 2 issues here. And obviously they don't know issue number 1. Number 1, they didn't really get that much screen time, especially Solenn. I know too, a lot of people do not like her from Below Deck. She is on that show, or was. I'm not sure, but I know she was on that show. So, and a lot of people don't like her, just bad at it. I don't really actually know exactly why. So she's already not liked by the public that is watching the show. But also, too, neither of you are American. And so when you have America voting, wouldn't you not want to leave it up to America? Because you really haven't maybe made that much of a stamp or an impression. There's only been 3-4 episodes, right? Like, I am really surprised that they decided not to open the box and to leave it in the hands of America. And honestly, that was to their downfall. It was to their downfall. I mean, at the end of the day, KK and Chris put them in the bottom, so that's why they're there to begin with. but it was to their downfall. And again, it just goes back to me saying, like, out of all the couples in there, to me, it was the least surprising that Solenn and Mare left, because they weren't really getting a lot of airtime, and I think it kind of made the most sense, to be completely honest with you. The other couple, so Andrea and Toby, decided not to leave it up to America, and they wanted to actually open up the box because, I mean, Andrea hasn't had really good experiences with leaving things up to America or a vote, so she actually wanted to open the box. That's fine if they wanted to do that. I mean, either way, they would have been safe because they had the pink card and they weren't the least amount of votes. And then Nicola and Isaiah, again, left it up to America. Kind of surprising to me. Look, it was good that they left it up to America because they're the ones that had the black heart. So if they didn't leave it up to America and they opened up the thing, they would have been out anyway. So it was good, but a little bit surprising because, I mean, yes, Isaiah is American, but Nicola isn't. So it's kind of like, has she won the public over enough for people to actually vote for her and Isaiah? I guess so, right? Because they weren't in the bottom. It was honestly really surprising to me that Mert and Solenn just didn't open up the box because, I mean, they didn't want to leave it up to like fate, but I don't know. Wouldn't you think, oh, we're not American, so I don't think we did well in the bottom, regardless if we think we're nice people or doing well on TV or whatever it is? That was really surprising to me, and it was to their downfall, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. Like, Solenn barely had any airtime. And Mert was kind of, I felt bad for his language barrier and all that. Like, yeah, even though him and Lucinda kind of had something going on, I don't know. I don't think it was going to go that far on the show, at least anyway. So that is it for the recap. I don't know. Again, my overall takeaway from this is I think Justine and Josh right now are the ones to beat. Also, Chris and KK, I think those two are the strongest couples, are the strongest competitors. I think all of them have their head in the game. Yes, it's Love Island, and yes, exploring connections and whatever, but I think all four of them and the two pairings have their head in the game and are in it to win it. And I think that is the difference. So let's see what happens. We got a lot more Love Island to get to. So I will be back before you know it to recap episodes 6 and 7. So that'll do it for me today. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Please rate, subscribe, review, do all of the things. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at yourrealitycheck.pod. And I cannot wait to chat with you in the next episode.